Hey, good morning. It's Thursday, June 3rd. We're going to keep looking for our morning thought at this passage in Ephesians that we've been looking at. And it's Paul is pleading with the Ephesians not to live life the way that the Gentiles do. And the Gentiles here being those people who are not a part of the covenant community of God, who are not living according to his word, and don't see God as the creator of the universe and sustainer of all things. It's also important to remember that these little epistles that Paul wrote, yes, they're to be studied and marveled at and mined for all the depth that we can, but also remember that they were given to people who devoured them. So this letter would have been read in one setting, and for sure looked at in depth later on and really worked over to get the truths that are here. But it's also really, really crucial to get a flow of the entire book, a short book. It's a letter, an epistle. He's writing a letter to them. So in the beginning of the letter, he talks about the heart. And he prays that God would open their hearts, the eyes of their hearts, to see the beautiful wisdom and wonder of God, to understand the love of God, and understand how he interacts with this world. So now, in this portion of chapter 4, he's beginning to help them understand what it means to be in contrast with that. So again, the words that we read yesterday, I tell you this and insist on it in the Lord, and read that more of a plea than as a command, that you must no longer live, walk, think the way these Gentiles do, because their thinking is futile. And then he explains why this thinking, this futility is occurring. They are darkened in their understanding and separated from the life of God because of the ignorance that is in them due to the hardening of their hearts. So as opposed to opening the heart, being soft to God, having the eyes of your heart being open to embrace the things of God. You see, it's important about the heart here because we're not talking about the outward behavior. We're talking about the inward behavior of the heart, which influences the outward behavior. But the way your heart behaves internally, that's what Paul's talking about. Those moments when it's just you and the person in the mirror looking back at you. These moments when you are alone, whether you're in a sea of people, but you know what those are like. We're alone in those moments. And there may be hundreds, scores around us, but we're alone in those moments. Us in our hearts. What Paul is saying, don't engage in futility that's going to frustrate you. Rather, the folks around you who are not trusting in God, they're ignorant of things of God. In other words, they don't want to follow God's way because their hearts are hard. And the hard here means stubbornness. They don't want to change. They won't move. They won't see what's going on around them. So as we have moved more towards sexual freedom, we have more sexual bondage. When we have tossed God out of our thinking, when we've tossed God out of the mental health process, we have increased mental struggles. When we look at education, without the hand of God in history, education, history, life becomes chaotic, has no purpose and no meaning. This is a hardened heart. It's stubborn. It will not let go. So rather than embrace God's ways of morality, we invent laws, produce laws to make those things of God illegal. And we'll get more specifics, but that's just the point I want to leave you with this morning. Paul is pleading with us not to be influenced by people whose hearts are stubborn and hard and resisting the things of God, instead of having our hearts open, with eyes of the heart seeking, longing to walk in God's ways. And that's the thought for this day. May our hearts be open before God. May we trust him. May we ask for hearts that are soft to the things of God, so that the eyes of our heart can be open and enlarged to know what true beauty is. And that's the thought for this day. Thanks so much for being here. And Lord willing, we'll be here tonight. Wasn't able to do it last night. That's why I say Lord willing. But looking forward to seeing you tonight. You have a great day today. Bye-bye.